Okay, so now we have HT, Hilliard Halliday. He was the charge nurse at Artesia the night that everything happened with Alexee. Man, he just lied right off the gate. Like right off the gate, right off the bat. The very first question they asked him, he went straight into a lie. Let's go ahead and listen to what he said.
Some things that happened, and the primary nurse who was taking care of her came and asked or told me a few things, so I had to interact with her and ask her a few questions about what went on when she was in the bathroom. Yes, I did interact. I had to go in the room and talk to her. Yes.
When you said you talked to her, was that about what you discussed in the trip, or was that about what had occurred in the bathroom?
What had occurred in the bathroom? She didn't actually tell me what was going on in there. She just told me, what she felt happened. She said that her words were that the baby just came out of me. I was scared. I didn't know what to do.
Was this information, this statement, spontaneous, or did you ask her a question?
I asked her a direct question.
What question did you ask her?
I asked her, can you tell me about the baby in the trash can?
Can you tell me about the baby in the trash can? Her response was, it just came out of me and I didn't know.
Yes, ma'am.
That drives me insane. Okay, so he's basically now saying that he actually went into Alexee's room and said to her, tell me about the baby in the trash can. And she said, it just came out of me. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. That didn't happen. So we actually have that on police camera. And if you guys go into my YouTube, you can see I made a favorites list of some other creators who had posted the lapel cameras from the police officers and a whole bunch of other things from the hospital and so on and so forth. But remember that HT was in with the baby, so was the doctor. And then the doctor came out, went to Alexee, told her, hey, you're pregnant. I need to check you. There was a female nurse in there. They did all of their checks, all of their exams. Nobody else interacted with her again until the police got there. The doctor made that clear. Once the police got there, they went into the room. You see the doctor, HT, does go in the room and kind of stands back. The doctor goes in and says, listen, we found a dead baby in the garbage can. And that's when Rose is like, oh my goodness. And she starts saying something to Alexee. And that's when Alexee makes the utterance that it just came out of her. She didn't know what to do. And the doctor was like, stop. Listen, we need to let you know what's going on medically. We need to get you airlifted, so on and so forth. HT never spoke with Alexee. Alexee never even looked at HT to make any statement. So all of that is a lie. That conversation never happened. He later goes on to say that there was additional conversation, but that occurred once the police got there. He's trying to say that he had this private conversation with her, and that is just plain out not true. Let's go into the next part.
I was called to the restroom by two other employees. When I went in there, the baby was in the trash can. I picked up the trash can, went over to the trauma, took him straight across the hall of the trauma room, got him out of the trash, and started assessing vitals.
Do you recall how this baby was situated in the trash can?
The baby was in a liner with trash in it, and then I had to remove another liner on the top of that.
The baby was in his own specific liner that contained trash?
Yes, ma'am.
And on top of that
Was another liner.
was another.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything about the bag that the baby was located in, other than it had trash in it, if it was open, if it's closed?
It was tore partially open.
What part of it was open?
Just the part kind of over the face. No, I did not. I didn't see it, but I believe Lori.
Objection to the speculation, then.
If you started assessing the vitals of this baby, what did you notice?
There was 0 respirations and there was 0 heartbeat. And the temperature, I checked the temperature, which was below normal.
Do you recall what the temperature of this baby?
I don't recall the exact number, no, ma'am.
Dr. Vasquez performed any type of resuscitation?
I don't believe there was resuscitation, but she performed an assessment as well. I was made aware that she had a positive pregnancy, yes, sir.
You didn't tell her that she was pregnant, did you?
I did not know, sir.
Is that typically left up to the doctor on call?
Usually the doctor or the primary nurse.
All right. You're aware as an experienced nurse that once you have a patient that's female and of childbearing age, complaining of back pain, for example, then it's very important to determine if that patient is pregnant or not.
Yes, sir.
If that patient indicates to you she has to go to the restroom, it's probably advisable to do a check and see what the situation is. Is that right?
Sometimes it just depends on the situation, though.
Sure.
Okay, so let's talk about the rest of his testimony. He talks about that he also knew she was pregnant and didn't tell her. So now we have 3 people so far who knew that she was pregnant and didn't say anything. Now, the other thing that he discusses is the baby and what happened after he found the baby. He says that he took the baby into the other room and he did an assessment. He checked the baby's vitals. He did all of this stuff. And then he proceeds to say that there was no resuscitation, but Dr. Vasquez then came in and also did an assessment. FYI, that is not true. There was one assessment supposedly done. And when the baby was in the hallway, HT leaves, goes and gets the doctor. The doctor then tells him to pick up the garbage can, bring it into the room. The doctor goes in, they take the baby out of the bag, and the doctor does the assessment. HT never does any sort of assessment without a doctor. There wasn't 2 assessments. Then, matter of fact, according to the doctor's original statement and HT's original statement, nobody touched the baby at all because he was evidence, and therefore they didn't want to contaminate a crime scene, so nobody did anything. But yet somehow we magically have a temperature of almost 96, which is not terribly low. So for them to say the baby was cold and that temperature was any indication that the baby was deceased, and that temperature was not an indication at all. On the contrary, I've said this before, we all know that when bodies go cold or people go cold, that it actually is more helpful than not, because it basically sends all the blood flow to the brain, it preserves everything else, yada, 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 all this other kind of stuff. I'm not going to get into the science behind that, but he says there's 2 assessments. There was only 1 assessment. He's trying to take credit for checking the baby's vitals and everything else like that, which never happened. There was only 1 possible check. Possible. We don't even know if there was any, period. We also know he never had any interaction. He's never had any conversations with Alexee. He checked her blood originally, or he took blood originally when she first came into that room. And then the next time that he was in that room, he was taking blood again, and he was also in there when the police officers were there. So that's HT's story that has significantly changed from the time that he spoke to the police initially. The other thing that's interesting is here we have now another person who was saying that when he got there and saw the baby, there was nothing over the baby's face, that the bag was opened around the baby's mouth and the face area. I don't know. Next, we have Dr. Vasquez, and that is going to be a great one because at the end of the day, even the judge was confused by her testimony. So we'll get into her next. Let's talk about HT in the comments. And again, like I said, I have uploaded his interview already on my YouTube channel.